These days we live busy lives, we lead stressful lives, we have lots and lots of pressures. And you know, it's best to find solutions to de-stress our lives and to make life a little bit easier to cope with. Well, Florence Lesley may have the solution. She's my guest today. Florence, hello. So tell me, Florence, how can you help us all in our busy lives? How can you help us cope?
Well, what I've provided is a small little bottle, which is a little first aid for the stressful and emotional parts of our lives. I'd call it a 21st century vibrational medicine.
What's that? 21st century vibrational medicine. Sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
It's intriguing because it's drawing on the principles from Dr. Edward Bach, who first made flower essences 100 years ago in England. But it's also, I feel, because I've created these essences on the Portuguese island of Madeira, off the coast of West Africa, but still part of Europe because it's Portuguese. And I feel that that island has the energy of Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis.
So how did you discover that the island of Madeira had this, well, this lost magic, this lost energy from an ancient civilization?
It came initially from several visits I made to the island, and it was actually in the vegetables and the fruit that I was eating, and they tasted incredibly sweet. Even the Brussels sprouts and the carrots and the things that you wouldn't think of as naturally sweet had this sweetness to them. And it came upon me. I've been using flower essences for 10, 15 years from other parts of the world. And I thought that sweetness, which I can taste in the fruit and vegetables, has got to be in the flowers as well.
Is this because sometimes you might have in the past been blessed with special skills or special senses?
Probably. All of us did, I imagine. I did have one particular moment when I just knew I'd got to make the essences, which was on, not long ago, just had the anniversary of it because it was Palm Sunday, and I was standing in the centre of the island overlooking Corral das Freiras, the Valley of the Nuns, which until very recent times was a secluded environment with only walking access. Very, very special feeling to the place. And as I listened to the church service being sent out on loudspeakers around the natural amphitheatre in the rocks, I just tingled and knew I'd got to be doing something special there.
So let's stay on Madeira. Let's stay with this beautiful island. How do you source all your various ingredients?
The ingredients are very simple. The ingredients are natural spring water, the best Portuguese brandy that I could find, made incidentally in a nice town in western Portugal, which is the twin city of Porto, which is called Gaia, which is the Portuguese word for the world, but it's recognised as the name for Mother Earth. So for me, that was a very appropriate brandy to choose, something from Gaia.
Where are you doing this and how are you doing this?
I'm looking to help therapists who are working in complementary and alternative therapy field currently and want to have something else that will help them mop up, say, the emotional fallout from some of the physical work that they may be doing, or to act as a modality in its own right. And to that end, I'll be doing training courses for therapists to study the 26 essences I've created in this country, and also I will be organising a wonderful opportunity to take a holiday and justify it for yourself by having it as a training experience as well to Madeira itself.
Is this for the individual or for professionals still?
That part would probably be for professionals, but there would be nothing in it that if individuals want to come along, they would be perfectly able to do as well. To start working as a professional, there are all sorts of safeguards now with regard to health and safety with first aid certificates and insurance, which really applies mostly to the professional therapist.
So you're
what we see ourselves as now.
Sorry, I've got so many questions. It's so exciting.
Okay.
26 essences really directed at the professionals, but for us individuals, what would you recommend?
I realised this was an issue as well, that people didn't want to buy 26 little bottles, however good value and I think wonderful they are. So I came up with my first combination blend of 5 of the essences, put together into my first blend called Fear Fighter. And I created it 2 days before all the banks crashed and we were formally into the credit crunch. And I suddenly found that I had the product that everybody needed, because everyone was being extremely fearful, even though I didn't know quite what they were fearful about. And it's got essences to help with courage, perseverance, to not let the niggling fears get at you, and also to feel that fear but not let it paralyse you, actually let you still act. In other words, feel the fear and act anyway.
So what feedback have you had from people taking this and the benefits?
I've been experimenting with this one since September 2008, and currently now in April 2009. I've got 6 months of wonderful experience. People have been using it prior to job interviews, when they have feeling that they're in a stressful situation. I myself used it so that I got onto a ferry after the ferry had been cancelled over to the Isle of Arran in Scotland, and the ferry had been cancelled because of a force 8 gale the day before, and I took my own medicine in order to get on that ferry the next day.
And taking your own medicine is a wonderful testimony to, well, its effectiveness, but also, I would suggest, to your dedication and commitment to this product range.
Yeah.
So how often do you devise new remedies?
At the moment, it's quite an express industry creating the new essences, because I came up with another one called Seasonal Soother just before Christmas time, and I designed it for when families gather to have fun. And they don't always, when they get together to have fun. We're coming up to Easter, another time when families gather to have fun. But it's also good for the summer holidays, when families are put together where normally they're not together, and all the issues and the little bits about each other that might niggle come to the surface. Most recently, I've put together Hay Fever Helper, which has come to me because of the fact that hay fever has come along a month earlier than usual this year. After 2 years of very wet springs, we've actually had a nice warm launch into spring. And what that's done is it's activated all the tree pollen, and people who had got used to 2 years of no hay fever symptoms have started having real problems. I'm getting very, very good feedback, but that's only been around for 10 days.
Only 10 days. You do
days.
like, though, to think ahead with regards to the seasons, because each season must bring its own problems, its own individual influences on people's daily lives.
Well, I haven't actually brought another seasonal one along, but what I have created is something called Dreamy Doses, which is designed to help with insomnia, and it resets the pattern of when you sleep.
The body clock?
The body clock.
Oh, right.
Again, it's another one I used myself because I was awaking at 5:30 every morning. And I started taking it 5 drops 3 times a day. And I thought I would be able to sleep through till 7. But what it did was, instead, it got me to feel very, very tired at about 9 in the evening. So I just had to go to sleep at 9 in the evening. So waking up at 5:30 meant that I did have my full complement of sleep, but it regulated it in a completely different way. So flower essences don't dictate what we sometimes think we want to have happen. They act naturally to what needs to happen and what we need to have happen in our lives.
It's a fascinating subject, very broad. You apply your skills to the professions, but also happily to the individual.
The last blend that I've just come up with is called Joyful Journeys, and that's geared up in a sense for the start of all the holiday season, where in spite of the value of the euro, I think people are still going to be travelling. And it's got 14 of the essences into it, so it's a mega blend, and it's designed to deal with all aspects of travelling, from the physical aspects to the emotional discomfort and impatience, like the journey I had getting here this morning.
As a traveller myself, I think I'm going to try that. Florence, Lesley, thank you.
Thank you.